Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Let's get back to work on the Ford Flivver. Alright, it's been a busy day so far, and I've gotten almost zero accomplished. It's 2:48. I started about 6 hours ago down here in the shop, and have yet gotten a single piece glued into position. What I've been going over for probably at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because I've been doing other stuff around the house, is first of all, where and how do I want to mount the servos for the ailerons? And some viewers may not like where they're going to be placed, and I'll show you why I have to put it pretty much where I'm going to put it. But they will work fine. And I don't think that there's going to be a problem whatsoever with the plane. And the reason why I had to take so long trying to figure out how and where they're going to sit, it's because I'm ready to put the rib caps on and then go ahead and then at least cap the top part of the wing, but not the underneath part of the wing yet, because you still have to have access to the center spot. I mean, I don't have to really do it because when I get done with the center section, I want to already have the servo extension leads pulled through and taped into position, so that way at no point in time could it possibly just pull out where I've already got the holes drilled through the ribs. So let me go ahead and get you guys off the stand and show you where I'm at. That's where it's going to sit. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people out there saying, no, you don't want to put that behind the spar. You want to put it up in the front of the spar. Now, I would love to have done that, as much as it was battling me internally to try to get that into this position. From here on forward, this curves up. The rib curves up. And it was just going to turn mounting that in the position I wanted it in. It was going to be just an absolute nightmare. And I wanted to get this installed first before I come in and then just start putting all the rib caps on. Because what I did was everywhere is supposed to have a rib cap on it is marked off. This spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. This is a no-go. It does not go over this piece. So I just put green tape down where nothing's getting a single cap. What's going to happen on this side is it's going to be the pieces that are designed for this. It's going to be pretty much encapsulated top and bottom. And the one in the center has already got the hole cut out in it to bring the servo wires up through. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right, I've got those glued into position, and then I came on the inside, flipped the wing back over again, put this down in its position here where it's going to be, took some of my long pins and just marked the corners where the hole's going through, and then I came over with the razor knife and with my little Zona saw piece that always hang on to one. If the handle breaks, always pull this piece out of a Zona saw and hang on to it. Went around, cut it, and then this pretty much, that's where it's going to go. So now when I flip it back over again, this is where I'm going to go ahead and cut the pieces of light ply, put two pieces across, one across the side, and then this is going to slide up from the bottom and screw into the light ply. So let me get that taken care of and I'll bring it right back again. Okay, I've got both sides cut out. Right now I've got the servo mount taped into position. This is kind of what it looks like from the bottom side looking up. Here's a light ply. This is where the 4 screws are going to go into to hold this piece into position. So I intentionally put each side with the directional arrow. This is the way that this one's going to fit in because it matches the sizing on how everything was put together and cut apart. It's matched to this one, and this one is matched to this one. So let me go ahead and take this out you know what, I'll leave this one in as well. We'll get this flipped over, and then I'll get everything lined up, ready to where the servo mounts are going to have to go, and then drill some holes. 8 o'clock in the morning. It's cold in here. It's just above 0 degrees outside, and that's Fahrenheit. So I'll show you what I got done off camera yesterday, because this morning I'm going to go ahead and start putting the rib caps on. So let me take you off the stand once again, and I'll show you where I'm at. All right, the servos are not attached yet. They're just sitting cradled in the little spot. So the servos, the position where everything is lining up is identical from side to side. You can see I do have the screws holding that servo mount plate up underneath. So the next conundrum, because I'm going to go ahead and start putting the actual caps on. And this is where inside my little brain it's very debatable still on what is right and what's wrong. I'm okay with this being the end piece, because all we got to do is just start sanding this section down. I don't know if you can see the line. Just start sanding this down from this point so it's going to meet up with the top of the rib, and then taper down. That's not a big deal. The problem is this one, because they're all the same size ribs. It's just a different number because it's a different thickness. And they all match. So what do I do with this drop where it's set up for a rib cap? So I think I'm going to rib cap this one and figure out what the heck we're going to go do down here, because this one is designed to have a rib cap on it. It's the way it is in the plans, because if you look at this one here, there we go. They're actually showing it's got a rib cap on it. So yes, it's very unnerving on how this is getting put together. Like here, where you've got the aileron, it goes on the bottom of the lower spar, the rear spar, but it does come up and it abuts right here. So if it abuts down in here and it's level here, what happens here? Like I said, it's very strange on how this kit is all set up, and yeah, it's kind of unnerving from time to time. So we're just going to have to figure out how I'm going to do it. So let me get started with the ones that I know for a fact that we're going to be putting the caps on just to begin with, and then I think we're going to have to go ahead and modify some way to try to make this stuff work. You know, sometimes even coffee doesn't help. We're having fun. I've got and you'll see, I've got a whole bunch of video. I've been working, doing a lot of stuff off camera, so I got to get you guys all caught up with where I'm at right now, because I've got the wing already set up for the fuselage and got the holes in the trailing edge of the wing set up to run the bolts up through to attach it. This is how well this whole build is going. There's one piece that's in the kit and I still want to know where it is. It's the Ford Flivver number 78. It's pretty much about 3/8 inch plywood. Normally that would go somewhere in the fuselage, the upper end, the forward end of the fuselage. It's not on the plans, got no idea where it goes, but it's here. The other problem that I had with with mounting the wing Because you don't have instructions, should have realized I should not have put this on until after the wing was mounted. Because trying to figure out where those little holes are right there in relationship to the wing, it was a curse. Yeah, I can show it to you. I had to do a little bit of, let's just call it readjustment of where those went in. I don't know what hell you're going to be able to see it, because right now everything is looking good. Everything is rock solid, but you can see these little fillers. Yeah. where I thought it was supposed to go according to the plans, it doesn't really go there at all. So all the measurements I made and drilled those holes through, they were far too low. They were probably somewhere about 3/16 of an inch too low. So I had to go in, plug those with some balsa, get everything lined up, re-drill some holes higher up from the measurements that I got from having them put in the wrong position, and everything just slipped right in. So at least structurally everything is good, because what I did on the inside of the forward edge of the wing is I just came in with some epoxy and then just kind of, I don't want to say flooded around it, and I'll show you guys later on. What I did was I mixed it up with some lightweight epoxy filler. It's kind of like little micro balloons, and then just poured it in around it just to make sure that they are locked into position in the wing. So let me show you where I'm at with the wing right now, because I'm at the point where it's almost ready to flip over and put the rib caps on the bottom. All right, because of course, hopefully this was earlier in the video, I've got the wing tips put on, set in at the right angle. I've got rib caps everywhere. They said they didn't want a rib cap here, but it was set up for it. So this has got a rib cap here, and this one has one here too. So I'm set all the way across. I've got the top wing plates put into position, and you can see I've already got the holes drilled out. What I'm going to do is, even though it said it does not want a rib cap on this, it's going to get one. And this is where this whole build is kind of strange, because it's over the top here and it butts up into it here. So these are level, these are proud. So this side over here is going to be proud as well, no big deal. But as you can see, the pieces that they wanted you to put down here has the offset as well for the rib cap. But how is that going to work over here on the bottom of the rib cap? Like I said, this is going to be very strange on how it's set up, because you can see on this piece it was designed to sit proud. So it's going to be a bunch of sanding. However, I want to try to get this to incorporate with the rest of this, because it's like I said, it's going to be a mess. So let me go ahead, get these things capped off. Sorry about that. So let me go ahead, get these things capped off, and then I'll flip it over, and then let's just try to figure out where I'm going from there. Like I promised a short time ago, what I did is I put in, it's a Top Flight micro balloons filler. I know you can still get it. I've had this thing, you can see the dirt on it. I've had this thing for, my God, I don't know, 10 to 15 years. So I've had it for quite some time. I don't use it a lot, and I just use it with just regular 5-minute epoxy. And this is what it looks like when it's down inside, and hopefully we got enough light. So it makes it more lightweight, and it's going to hold that pin into position. So that way, this is not going to want to come out of the front of the wing, which is bad. Okay, so before I start putting all my rib caps on, I've come in, I've already got the hole drilled into position for this landing gear and this landing gear. So what's going to come off of this, I've got to have a little block right here and a little block right in this bay that's supported, and that's going to be for not just the landing gear, but the, if you want to call them, the supports, just to keep it from pushing back and rotating. Hey, I'm back. Did you miss me? It's been a long 3 days just doing all the stuff for this video from start to finish. A lot of stuff was done, and it was quite the battle, and especially, and I'll show you guys, especially with the wing tips. I probably spent about 1 hour per side on getting the wing tips the way that I wanted them to look, and also found little issues, I guess you want to call it, with the lack of instructions. But that will be addressed at a slightly later time, because right now the wing itself is what I consider finished, with the exception of the pre-covering, because when I will be covering this thing, it's going to be with fabric. So any of you guys that have followed my fabric building, which is pretty much every plane, it's all about getting everything prepped before you go ahead and, I mean, it's probably 3 or 4 coats of nitrate dope with sanding in between, just to get the dope down inside the wood itself, and that helps stiffen up the wood too. So it makes it less chance of flex, and then the fabric itself, I've said in other videos that the fabric becomes a structural member of the aircraft as well. Because as soon as you get the fabric on and it's shrunk down, you put, you know, 3 or 4 coats of nitrate dope, it locks everything together. So before I get you guys off the stand to take a look, let me cover one more thing that as of this morning, probably about 2 hours ago, was something that just appeared mysteriously. I have no idea, I've never seen it before, but for some reason it is here. The kit actually did come with instructions. I was doing some work over there, digging in behind. I had to move all this stuff out of the way, had to move it all back. Yeah, the shop is a mess. And this was wedged into an area so tight that without taking it all apart, I never would have seen it, because you couldn't see it just by looking. So, yeah, I do have the instructions. Now, if you guys have built anything before, it's a really, really bad set of instructions. And the only picture is in the whole set of instructions is that. And what that shows you is where the, if you want to call it, let me grab it. It tells you in the fuselage where these go for holding the wing on. So literally, that's the only picture, is to where those go. Well, if you've built RC planes before, you pretty much know where it goes. It goes towards the tail of the wing. So, and if you read the instructions, it's very confusing. I just did a quick little over glance on what it said, and I really don't think it would have helped at all. Just because of the fact that it does not have any pictures besides that one. Here's the English version of it. So they tell you what to do, but it's not very it's just not very good. Where it says glue the spacer to the lower outer sides of the engine mount supports. Don't know. We'll figure that out when we get to it, but I'm not going to read the instructions. Just to let you guys know that I do have instructions now. Should have cleaned the shop a little while ago. And because I did get the instructions, I wanted to figure out what this would be for. Because I figured with the size, it would have to be part of the engine mount. Now, you're not going to be able to see it from this side just because of how everything is squinched in like it's supposed to. This ends up being another plate for mounting the engine. So if this one will not work with you, this one here, and you can see how I've got everything together and scrunched down with little tri-stock, but you couldn't see it. This would slide down in between this piece on the front and this piece as well. And that was set up, they say, just in case you have a different system of having to attach the motor. And because I'm using this is just a piece of scrap for something else. Now, let me go ahead and get you guys off the stand. Just so you can see what it pretty much looks like, and there's not much left to do. Now, what I did do is, because I already had part of this glued on up on top for the very first, last time you guys saw it, I got the bottom done too. The holes are already put into place for the landing gear, because landing gear goes here, and then the stabilizers, if you want to call them stabilizers, they go here. So I've got one that's going to go from the upright or downright part, going down the wheel, from there to that point, and from there to that point. And this side does the same exact thing. So that is all put into place. And as you can see, I've got the holes already drilled through. And because I think you did see that I had that thing hooked up last time. So I'm not going to take the time to go ahead and do that again. But let me show you on the wing tips. I think this is pretty much about what they were looking for. And that's the best I can kind of just figure out what I think they're looking for. The biggest problem we have is because this piece wasn't cut. This piece wasn't cut long enough. I should say, not for me, how it was stamped out. We kind of needed that. This needs to be able to slide way up to the front, and then this was going to leave a huge gap in the back. So I figured it was going to probably have to be a little bit off, because this side here was a little bit off. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll use this as the arc to trace the front that's going to come out to here, and then I'll do it again on the inside, and we're just going to go ahead and just slide a piece. And it doesn't have to be that long. It's got to be maybe about another, I don't know, 1/4 inch at the most longer, just to have it blend in better. If I cared to, I could probably leave it like it is, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that little filler in, but that'll come at a later date. So that's pretty much about it. The wing itself, let's call it complete. And all we got to do is get that thing back up on the bench again, and yeah, figure out the mess happening with that thing. So there you go. So it's a lot closer now to getting done, because that was probably 3 videos, good 3-4 weeks of whatever time I could afford. I had 3 days off this weekend. I had a Saturday, Sunday, and today's Monday. And so that was what allowed me to put together enough time between this life and my personal life. So on that happy note, let's go ahead, let's call this a video, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm back in the shop.